guy keeps bothering me. Look, this is my cat, Louie. He is a year and a half old. That's my guy, Louie. All right, so I have a sea story to tell you. I am Russ. I was in the Navy from 1996 to 1999. I was a machinist mate 3rd class when I got out. I served aboard the USS John C. Stennis CVN-74 aircraft carrier. So this sea story is one that had me really nervous, and I did not know what was going to happen to me. I was snorkeling in the Gulf of Oman. I cut my ankle open on some rock, and I was on an island, and it was bleeding, and I had to be taken to a medical facility in the middle of nowhere. I will tell you all about it. So we were on our deployment to the Middle East. We had been in the Persian Gulf for quite some time, and we were going back to the port of Jabal Ali for about the 2nd or 3rd time at this point. We hit about 3 ports. We would hit Dubai, Jabal Ali, and the island of Bahrain, the city of Manama we would go to. So the way it works is when you're deployed, at least the way it did work back in 1998, was you would sign up for an excursion when you were going to a port visit, and you would pay money for it, and then you would be taken to wherever the excursion was. So this particular one, me and some of the guys signed up for a snorkeling excursion. Now this was about, if I remember right, an hour-and-a-half bus ride, a very scary bus ride, to the Gulf of Oman. So it was across the other side of the peninsula. And a bunch of us were hungover because we had drank too much the night before. Can you imagine that, sailors drinking too much? So we were on this bus, and it was a long ride. We stopped for gas halfway, and this was the first time I ever saw a gas station where the restroom, where we all had to go to the bathroom because they allowed drinking on the bus, it was a tiled hole in the floor. That's all that it was. There was no sink, no running water. It was an outhouse, basically, a fancy outhouse, and it had a hole in the floor, and it was tiled, and that was it. No toilet paper, no nothing. I remember we all stopped, got a good laugh out of that. And as we were getting gas, I remember there was a few dwellings nearby, and I saw goats just walking into people's houses. There was no doors, no windscreen. It really is a third world area, and that was one of the first times I saw something that was just crushing third world poverty like that. So anyway, we get back on the bus, we checked in. I have bigger feet. I am 6'4", so they did not have a size 13 water shoe. And I had to use the flippers without a water shoe. So you'd put a water shoe on, and then the flippers would go on. We were snorkeling, and we were also accompanied by scuba divers. The way it worked is they took us to this island that was about a 25-minute boat ride away from the facility where we checked in. And they dropped us off at the island that had a beach, and we were to snorkel around the island. And they took the scuba divers way out, and they were going to be back for us in 2 or 3 hours, whatever it was. So there was just a bunch of us guys on this island in the Gulf of Oman, and we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have any way to contact anybody. There was nobody from the excursion that was with us. So we did the snorkeling thing. We were in the water. We were going to go to the beach. It was getting close to that time that they were going to come pick us up. And as we were going to get out of the water, I was following some of the other guys. They were getting out in this really rocky area because it was a little bit ways around to the beach, and we were kind of tired from swimming. So I took off my flippers because I didn't have the water shoes. Everybody else had water shoes, and I didn't. So I was trying to watch where I was stepping, and there was these little crabs jumping around everywhere. And I was about to step, and I saw a bigger crab, and I almost stepped on it. So I put my foot against a rock, and it slipped, and I smashed all my weight went on it, and I smashed my ankle against the rock. I looked down at my ankle, and I saw the bone. I saw bone, and it was just looked like a cat's eye, just wide open, and bone, and then blood. Crap. What am I gonna do now? Got out, went to the beach. I was the last one out, of course, so everybody was ahead of me. Got to the beach. All the guys were laughing. They're like, "Ah, dude," they're like, "That's gross. We can see your ankle." Like, "Oh, that's nasty." None of us had shirts. We left all our shirts, everything on the boat that was going to come back for us soon. Luckily, one of my friends was really hungover and decided he wasn't going to go snorkeling. So he found a shaded area while we were snorkeling against some rocks, and he kept his shirt on. Luckily, he had his shirt. So I was able to put pressure on my ankle, and we sat there on this beach with my ankle busted open for about 30 to 40 minutes until this boat got back. Now, the boat couldn't pull in to shore because we had to wade out. So I had to wade with my busted open ankle probably about 40 or 50 feet to where the boat was till we got on it, showed the guy, said, "This is terrible." He's like, "We got to get you back. We got to take you somewhere in town to get that stitched up because there's no way that you're going to make a 2-hour ride back, hour and a half, 2-hour ride back, whatever it was, to the boat." So here I am in the Middle East. We get back. I get in his car, and I remember I had Brett Favre Nikes on. I believe they were Nikes. They were Brett Favre Nikes, and just blood was just filling my shoe. I was trying to keep a rag on it. It took us 20 minutes as we're driving to this place. He was a British guy, very cool, very nice. He says to me, "It's a good thing you don't have any tattoos because it doesn't show that you're in the military. Do not tell anyone you're in the military because there are potentially a lot of hostile people around here that would use you or myself for ransom if they knew you were in the military." So if my ankle that's busted open isn't bad enough, he says, anybody asks, you tell them you're on holiday, that you're here on vacation, you are not in the military. He's like, do not say that you are in the United States military. That will turn out really bad if word gets out. So I'm nervous. I'm driving through this little rocky area up the coast of the Gulf of Oman, and we pull up to this little rinky-dink village, and it looked, again, this place at least had windows, so it was a medical facility, and hardly anyone there spoke English. You know, he spoke a little bit Arabic, and they could see what the problem was. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that. That was my wife. Sorry. So this is getting a little wordy. Anyway, where was I? I'm at the medical facility, and they sat me down, and this woman just came up with a syringe, and he's saying, just let her do it, it's good, she's going to numb it. And he spoke a little Arabic, so she was talking to him and talking to me, and I remember her saying, hurt, and so she numbed it, and I remember her scrubbing it, and then another guy came in, and he sutured it, he stitched it up, and they gave me some pain pills. He said, don't take those. And they gave me a little bill. So I still have the bill. I should have pulled it out. He paid for it. He said, don't worry about it. We got it taken care of. I do a lot of business with the U.S. Navy. So he's like, we're good. You're going to be fine. So anyway, we drove back. I sat on the bus. My ankle was killing me because I didn't have any pain medication. I could barely walk on it. I had to take a horrible bumpy bus ride an hour and a half back to the boat. I had to walk from the car probably about another quarter mile to get to the ship. And I remember I was limping and my buddies were helping me. Got on the boat, went right to medical. They looked at it. The medical officer said, this is crazy. They use silk to stitch you up. And I said, what's the big deal with silk? He's like, well, we haven't used silk sutures since World War II. So he asked he wanted to know what they gave me. Did I take anything? Did I put anything in my body? What did they inject me with? To this day, I still don't even know. I said it was a syringe, and it kind of numbed the pain for a little bit. Actually, I gave him the pills that they gave me, and I don't know what happened to that. So my leg ended up getting infected with cellulitis. I ended up having ankle cellulitis for the second time in my Navy career. Oddly enough, the same leg. The first time was when I was in boot camp, and it was during mess cranking duty. That's another sea story to tell you. So I was off of work for about a week, light and limited duty. They called that broke dick back then. So I was broke dick for probably a good week and a half or so. And I did miss swim call. That really sucked. I was looking forward to that. What they would do is they would lower one of the aircraft elevators and let everybody jump off it, swim around, and come back on. That was the only time they allowed that they did it the whole time we were in the Persian Gulf. I missed it. Turned out to be not that bad because a lot of people got stung by jellyfish. Apparently a field of jellyfish moved into the area and they had to cut it short. So my cellulitis got better. I healed up and everything was all well and good. But that was just a very, very strange and interesting time. So the moral of this sea story, if there is one, some of these sea stories won't have any morals, is to remain calm, don't panic, wear water shoes if you're going snorkeling, and just be appreciative of everything you have and everything you do because you don't know how things will turn out. I have a ton of sea stories. I was only in for 3 years, but I have so many things to tell. I could probably make 30 or 40 of these. Leave me a comment, subscribe. I have a channel called Stashing Worthy Acorns. I have a podcast called Dapper Dividends. They're both finance oriented, but I wanted to do something with my Navy and just start telling some sea stories. So that's it. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you next time.